If you're buying or just bought a new Tesla, then this video is for you. I wanted to go over a few quick things that I think every new Tesla owner should know. Enjoy. The number one thing is definitely charging. Make sure that you have a home charger. And by home charger, I mean an outlet that you can plug into that's near your Tesla. Now, most people are going to opt for installing a 220 volt. That way you can get that 30 miles per hour rather than having to use a 110 and getting 4 or 5. You don't actually need the wall charger unless you're buying something like a Model S or Model X, or you're going to have multiple Teslas. The Model 3 is not going to utilize it as much. It will also save you money to just buy a mobile charger and then plug into the wall utilizing an outlet installed by your electrician. Either way, you're going to still need to probably have an electrician come out and install the port and the proper wiring if you don't already have it. Keep in mind too, when you're going on road trips, you're definitely going to have to plan out a little bit more than you would in, say, a gas car where you can stop and get gas at any point. You're going to have to plan out your charging stops, and you are going to have to sit there and charge for 10, 15, 30, 40 minutes maybe if you're at an area that doesn't have multiple charging stops and you want to give it more of a boost so you don't have to charge again later. There have been times where I'll go up north or something like that and end up having to charge for 5 minutes, but I'll sit there for 20 minutes just to make sure that I get enough that I can maneuver around if I'm going to an area that does not have charging. This is definitely something that I've heard as a complaint of having to charge and having to deal with charging coming from gas car owners. But it is definitely something you're going to have to get used to, so just be aware of that. And be aware of the fact that there are not as many charging stations as there are gas stations. New owners should definitely be aware that they should be learning the ins and outs of their car. This could be scrolling through menus and figuring out what settings there are that are hidden. Like, for example, the blind spot camera that was just released, which is amazing. Since the Tesla is really a driving iPad, it is a little bit more of a learning curve and more of a tech aspect than a gas car. There are lots of little hidden features that you may not be able to find as easily as you might on a gas car. So it's definitely good to utilize the resources you may have at hand, whether that's YouTube videos, Facebook groups, or current owners. But definitely take some time to learn the car and don't just jump in it thinking you're going to be able to get through and utilize it like a normal car, because while it is a normal car, it's not a normal car. And there are definitely some ups and downs to owning a Tesla. Charging is usually the number one complaint that I hear. But also I hear that dealing with service can be a pain. I personally haven't had any issues. But there are those little caveats to learn, and you can find that out by, like I said, going through like Facebook groups and such. So I'm also going to highly recommend that you take a look at the Tessie application as well. It complements the Tesla app. It utilizes Tesla's API to give you access to a lot of the same controls and some new ones, such as control your tire pressure. It can give you your battery history. You can also see the real world range versus the range that the car sees, and this is based on past driving habits, weather, all that. So many things that can obviously change how efficient you are with your car. That's where something like this comes in handy. So on times where I've been on a road trip where I am not near a charger consistently, I will utilize this and I'll monitor from this app rather than utilizing the car. If you read through some of the forums, you'll see a lot of people say you don't trust the car's range and go off of the percentage. I kind of agree with that. The percentage is definitely going to be more accurate rather than the car trying to guess what your actual range is, especially since hills, wind, temperature all can drastically affect range, and by a relatively large percentage too. I think I remember reading somewhere that cold weather can drop range by 10 to 15%, if not more. So it also gives you the access to to seeing like some analytics. If I can come in here, let's do driving analytics. Can show that. So for example, I've tracked 16,000 miles. I've tracked 4,400 kilowatt hours. Electric cost has been about 662. Now this is averaging a mix of this is in the program. I have it set to at the higher rate for my home charging. So that's kind of inaccurate because of the fact that I was guessing, because I don't always charge on or off peak. I don't have it scheduled. Plus the supercharger, so the supercharger would be accurate. So it's an estimate, but more or less it's going to be closer to that. So the fuel cost it's averaging right now, it's basing it off of a 40 mile per gallon car and $5 per gallon. And then you can see the further efficiency and duration of how long you've been driving count. It gives you a lot of analytics that the Tesla app does not give you. It's a $5 per month app that I think it's been pretty useful. You can also do some automations through Google Home. I believe you can do Alexa as well. IFTTT, as well as other shortcuts. So it's well worth looking at. So take a look, and hopefully you find it helpful.